Okay, back in the game. Had to stop for a while to watch the Fallout 4 announcement trailer. Glad to see that game series being continued again. Not much to say about the game based on the trailer. It looks very familiar if you played Fallout 3 or New Vegas, except that it doesn't look brown or it lacks the color filter that the two previous Fallout games had. Oh, New Vegas has the orange filter, everything sort of looks washed out. Does Fallout 3 have the brown or the green filter? I don't recall. But colors look very unnatural in both games. At least based on the trailer of 4, it looks like they've removed the filter, added weather effects, that sort of thing. Those are some of the most popular mods to the previous Fallout games. That seems to be the standard thing Bethesda is doing. They take usually a couple of the most popular mods from their previous games in the series and try to incorporate them in the next series. I've seen that done with a few games already, so I pretty much think at this point that it's a standard practice. Which is a very good thing in my opinion. It guarantees the evolution of the gaming series. Marine Captain. Clear the streets, you vermin. Voyeur. Yeah, who's gonna make us? These are our streets. We were born here, raised here, sold our first rocks here, got laid here. We ain't going anywhere, so slut off. I'm warning you, this city is under martial law and you are in violation of a curfew order. Disperse immediately or I will be forced to open fire. Curfew? Are you mental? The fragging sun has barely gone down. Where? What's going on? Haley, what are you doing here? Watching my friend commit suicide by a cop from the looks of it. It isn't like that. We're sick of getting pushed around, Haley. We need to make a stand, otherwise they'll just keep shuffling us along until one day they sweep us out of the city altogether. You're human. You don't know what it's like to live with this every day. You're right, I don't know what it's like, but I know what it's like to live, and I want you to keep living, Guar. Where do you expect them to go? The gutter, probably, or the cemetery. The Marine warily rubs his eyes. Go back to those awful squats you vermin occupy. Why do they need to leave? Because orcs like you are endangering the city. Everybody knows that when groups of metahumans congregate, violence always results. Saito-san needs to keep you lot under control, otherwise Frisco will turn into another disaster like Seattle. Jeez, you moron. Nobody calls it Frisco. Never be a part of this city. Stop trying to pretend like you own it. What will happen if they don't disperse? I'm authorized to use any and every force at my disposal to ensure that the streets are safe. So you'll shoot us then? If you threaten the lives of my men, then yes, I will be forced to shoot you. For every orc and troll you slay, I'll kill 2 of your men. For every elf you murder, I'll kill 4 marines. Do I want to start a fight here or not? That's basically either disperse or I don't see any reason why I would side with the Marines, even if the save lies here, because it seems obvious that some kind of confrontation is coming, since I'm a meta-human too. Why would I not side with the other meta-humans? Go away, Marines. Negative. This is it, chummers. Charge! There's what? 5 guys here. It's a 5 versus 5 situation where we're the deciding factor. Okay, you hide. We score a kill or two. Seems typical Marines. They're not that badly injured. One down. I can't really move. We need to kill something pretty much immediately to tip the scales. We have to go after the captain. I'm only gonna need a couple of turns and it's over. Okay, if we can use the drone to kill the captain, we should be able to take down one of the Marines. They probably have less points. Yep. Okay. Let it be. I doubt they can kill anyone. Wow, that was intense. You notice that Boar is shaking. Rictus of a grin seems plastered on his face. Of course they'll be sending every marine they can from the Mission Street substation. That's not good. We've got to take them down, otherwise they'll start locking up everyone in the district they can to get their hands on. They can get their hands on. You with me? Have you heard of Norton? Norton? Yeah, I know Norton. He's down in Colma. Now, let's get going. Find and defeat the rest of the Marines. Seems reasonable. Once the shooting starts, it's too late to try to make up at this point. Either you go for the win or you're gonna let the enemy take their time, gather their forces, and come after you when you're not able to take them on anymore. Ooh, the game is chugging. I don't know why. I guess it's not meant to handle large scale fighting all that well. I mean, this is basically looks to be my team. So maybe the scripting that's used to handle it, it's very rough, I say. So we can use the And use the cars for cover, but that said, there isn't much room for cover here. Yeah, everyone's hiding behind the same car. This is a terrible situation to be in, because if they can basically point their guns in our direction here, there's no escape from that. They can spread out while still be able to keep us here. Have great accuracy though. So that's one down basically. We'll let them take the damage, although I don't think it particularly matters. I don't want casualties if we can avoid it. This is going to escalate sooner or later. Okay, this is not good. We use the Doberman to get into a bit of a better position. Try to flank these guys. Ooh, yeah, it's over for them. One guy left. It's probably more, but not many. I'm guessing there are multiple groups of these. I can't believe War is so stupid. He's hella smart, but he can be so dumb sometimes. Did you like him? Where? Ew, no. I mean, it's not because he's an elf. I like Tarn. After all, it just, well, you know. He has a friend, though. What a waste. I hate this stupid city sometimes. Haley, you're so fucking annoying. Yeah. He's a moron. But still, it's not like what he's doing is a bad thing. He's just going around doing it in a way that's likely to end up as a tragedy. Haley sighs deeply. I know, right? And yet, inside his own head, he's so convinced that he's making the world a better place. What a dummy. I think we need to get rid of Haley. She's getting on my nerves. It's not like she's unbearable, but there's nothing really to like about her either. Yes, we're in a bit of a bad place. They have cover, we have not. Haley is probably safe. She's so far away. It'd be idiotic to target her. Just in case. Take cover. Mr. Doberman, trying to do a flanking maneuver. Well, that's in the open, really. Light cover doesn't mean much. Medium and heavy, on the other hand, are quite useful. I think I want to go closer. Yeah, at least take cover. Back up. Action point damage. This is still fairly good for us. It means our support can go right up in their faces. We didn't take all that much damage anyway. What? Why did I lose control? Yeah, we've taken so many action point damage that we lost control. Still. Oh yeah, they suck too. One good thing about the burst that I really like that might not be obvious is that it basically ruins the cover. It causes them to pop up. So if there's any chance of a follow-up, it'll help your allies quite a bit. You notice the difference. It helps to hit a little bit better, but the big difference is in damage. You're not gonna get critical hits if they have medium to heavy cover. It's very rare, at least. But if they're standing up there in the open, critical hits are very common. More hits are probably criticals than not, so it makes a huge difference. Three Marines, don't see anything special about them. Only light cover. Sure, start moving forward, try to take snapshots. Double damage. We'll try to get the guys who are out of cover first. Light covers, and well, everyone's in light cover at least. So am I, so it doesn't particularly mean much. Guess we're just gonna start taking them down. This is in the back now. And I think I can risk going out in the open. The thing is, you can probably do like 1 hit damage to me, which isn't gonna mean much. Alternatively, I could go closer and just auto-fire him. But I think our allies have a decent chance of killing him anyway, especially if I get a hit. Yeah. Find and defeat the remaining marines. So now what? The gate is electronically locked. You'll need to find that lock. Stuffer Shack parking passcode. Okay. So who has it? Patron. The man busies himself with a nearby terminal. You have a pass card for this Stuffer Shack? What do you ask? I need to open the gate, of course. Sorry, can't help you. This can't be my only option. What if you don't have the money at this point? What's this? Search trash. Let me go search the trash first. If that doesn't help, we'll return there. Got the pass card. But it's in a way shame that I have to use my out of game understanding to basically see that it's a waste of time to just pay the guy money. And yeah, he doesn't talk to me anymore because I have the card. So 3 ways at least how to get the card. This is not a bad this thing in any way. You see this often. You have the basic method of getting through. You have to have some brute way. Assume that you have a team or a guy who has no real skills. So there has to be one for that. However, this is not a good way to implement it. It's because there are all different ways that really require no effort from you. So it's not like if you have the skills you can get some kind of an easy route, which it should be. And if you don't have them, you have to sweat a little or risk something or lose something or something like that. Here it just, I suppose you waste 10-15 seconds. It's why bother making it a multiple choice in the first place? You probably, the time you put into putting in those options is vastly outweighed by the time anyone ever really wastes on this. I mean, what's the point? It's just it's totally pointless, riskless gate opening. Doesn't really offer you any interesting choices either. I couldn't just try to take the card by force, for example. It's not a big complaint, but it's just for the player. There's really no direct negatives on this. It's more of a, you have a limited amount of time and resources. Let's call them all resources for the sake of simplicity to make your game. So it's more of a question of where you're going to put it on. Usually I would, I guess you would want to ask the question, how is this going to make the game better? If you don't particularly have an answer for it, you probably might as well forget about the whole thing and use the same time or resources to improve some part of the game where it's where it does make a difference. Some more interesting role-playing options, expand something. This is the card might as well have been dropped by one of the Marines. It's basically the same thing. So we're gonna take the taxi then. Thanks for your help. Here, take this. I know it isn't much, but I want you to know that we meta-humans remember our friends. Remember, Norton is in coma. I wouldn't go there if I were you, though. Norton is surrounded by some very dangerous creatures. I have to run. Goodbye, and thanks again. We get karma. No, we don't really have money either. No karma, no money. Eclipse again. The ride back to Eclipse feels tense. You hear gunfire and see pursuers on your trail. Badly outnumbered, you race through the steep streets as quickly as possible, shaking off your followers just before you reach your safe house. Inside, Mr. Johnson grimly listens to you recount what you learned in the Mission District. This job just grew trickier. So, let me get this straight. The Aztechnology job was interrupted by some giant troll who nobody saw enter or leave the building but you. He said something about Norton before disappearing. According to the meta-humans in the city, Norton is in coma. That's a complication. Colma is away south of San Francisco. It's part of the Bay Area sprawl, but there's very little core presence there. You've had a long day. 7 points of karma, 1000 yen. You've had a long day. Why don't you get some sleep? I'll check with my superiors and see how they want to proceed. Here's a partial payment. I know the Aztechnology job wasn't finished, but I appreciate your efforts. We'd be in much worse shape without you. Get some sleep. Okay. 7 points of karma. What can we take? We could take more health, but at the same time... we could unlock Deadeye. Point is, 7 points of karma doesn't really buy as much of this at this point. We could also use more dodge. With 7 we can only pick one. What is this? Increases to hit by 20%, pierces up to 2 armor, cooldown 3 rounds. So it's just extra normal shot you can take. That is slightly more accurate and has a little bit of armor piercing property. It's not a bad ability by any means, it's not going to be a game changer either. So it doesn't matter if we're gonna take it or not. I heard that you paid a little visit to As Technology. How is it looking? It's in shambles. I thought as much. Had I mentioned that I used to work in that building? Probably not. It's not a fact I advertise often. Saw the writing on the wall long ago, even before Saito-san landed in the city, when Aztlan first declared war on the Calfree. I knew any association with Az Technology would be poison, and started making plans to disassociate myself from that corporation. I do feel some regret for former colleagues who have lost their lives, but frankly, the fewer connections I have to that place, the safer I will be. But enough of that. Okay, what do you know about Colma? Ah yes, Colma. I've never visited, but I understand there's powerful magic there. Millions of dead souls gathered in one place can cause some strange phenomena. It's off the radar of technocratic elites like the Megacorps and Saito. But don't get complacent down there. That place is filled with history, and history has a way of manifesting in unexpected ways. Yeah, that would mean that there's probably not that much use for our hacker, but the shaman might be much more appropriate. It's better for combat and it can heal. Yeah, we'll probably go with that. Blindness is a good spell. Very easy to get, target blinded and cannot see or attack, lasts 2 rounds. Very good. Anyway, we have other uses for our money. Okay, research pay data. What will you pay for this file? Ooh, that's a sparkly one. Lots of little nuggets in there. Unfortunately, as technology is quickly exiting the scene here, so there won't be a lot of interest in the file. Still, I can offer you 750. Yeah, fine. It's not like I have any use for it. Any new cyberware. Basic armor plating. Wired reflexes. Movement +1. When triggered, you will dodge the first attack against you. Lasts for 3 rounds. Yeah, if we reach the interesting upgrade territory, we're talking 3 to 5,000 yen, and the special abilities are fairly lackluster. Ah, you're a hacker. How's business? Groovy, man. There's a serious fire sale on used electronic equipment now that as technology is fighting the dust. I'm sure they'll try to bring in some ringers to shore up their so-called pyramid operations or whatever. But until then, there's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to grab some megacorp quality tech for a bargain price. I'm gonna need weapons. Kali. I noticed her earlier. I'm a bit busy. What do you need? How's business? Getting better every day, but it's a constant struggle. As our resources grow bigger, so do the demands of Saito. Fortunately, now that most of the local megacorps have gotten a taste of Eclipse, they won't tolerate Saito getting rid of us. I'm looking forward to the day when I'll be free of his grasp and can run Antumbra enterprises without looking over my shoulder. Why name your business Antumbra Enterprises? My first nightclub in Seattle was an unfortunate experience, but a formative one. At the time, I was furious about how events had turned out. In retrospect, however, I have come to understand that it was all for the best. If the club had continued, I might still be slumming it in Everett, booking singers and trying to convince artists to sign with my label. Its failure forced me to flee to Calfree, and here I found opportunities far bigger than those I left behind. Antumbra is a warning to myself to be paranoid at all times. You never know who is going to stab you in the back. At the same time, Antumbra is also a reminder that failure is a part of life. We must embrace our mistakes, learn what we can from them, and rise again. I wonder if the game is going to try to teach us that same lesson. Wouldn't matter much. I doubt we have much say in the matter. I don't really see a use for the grenades. Effective use of grenades requires you to have strength. We don't have strength. Heavier armor? Don't really see the point. Ooh. Okay, every goddamn weapon seems to require a smart link. I guess it's a little bit more accurate version of a weapon. What do we have now? We have a Semopal. Damage 11, capacity 30. We have okay, we have two competing options. Rifle, smaller than most assault rifles yet as deadly. Or assault rifle used by corpsec units, more accurate and pierces up to 2 armor. Okay. I think we're going to take the F in HAR. It's 1500, which leaves us 1000 extra, so if we need to hire some extra help, and we do, we can still afford that, so... A smart link version would be 500 more expensive, but we would have to buy the data chat, which is about 500. So if we're looking at 2500, which is all the money we have at the moment, so we will get something back from selling that one though. At the same time, I'm not sure I will sell it. Not yet, at least. Because if I run out of ammunition from one weapon, I can still use the other, and I have no idea can I even use the same firing options with the other assault rifle. So better keep them both for now. You seem better stocked than before. You're absolutely correct. My network of acquisitions experts have been busily combing over the former offices of AS Technology and finding some terrific equipment. Marines are mostly concerned about hunting down any Aslan agents, and the Megacorps are focusing on taking over AS Technology's contracts, so nobody cares very much if a few guns and fetishes go missing. Let's see how much money we would get if we would sell our weaponry. 600. Not bad. I was expecting a lot less. It was 800 I think initially, so more than 50% of the initial price is returned. Not bad at all. Okay, I want to rest. DJ Omphalos. You spot an elf staring intently at the stage, bobbing her head to the music. She flashes a brilliant smile upon noticing you. You must be Bull, right? Cully was talking about you earlier today. You're quite notorious, you know that. Do you want anything? Okay. Who are you? I was born Idril Nalas, but I go by DJ Omphalos these days. I specialize in thrumming music and have played most styles and clubs at some point in my career. I've also helped several people record demo tracks and launch their own careers. I don't want to record anything. What do you think of Cully? Oh, she's fantastic! I'm so glad that she came to San Francisco. Her talents were wasted in Seattle. She's not just a terrific performer, but she's one of the few artists who can relate really well to people outside of our culture. That's proven to be extremely useful here in the city. Ever since martial law was imposed, most clubs have been dying a slow death, but Kelly has quickly found the right palms to grease, the right favors to collect, and the right compliments to pay Saito. It's making her very rich, and it's also giving us the first decent venue we've enjoyed here in years. She is connected to the Japanese megacorps then. Haley. What do you know about Colma? What a creepy place. My friends and I used to go there at night, hoping to see some ghosts. We spotted a couple, but nobody we recognized. I guess it's pretty famous. 150 years ago, San Francisco dug up all of their graves and moved the bodies down to Colma, so they could make room for more houses or whatever. Lots of famous people are buried there. William Randolph Hearst, Joe DiMaggio, White Earp, Levi Strauss, lots of folks. Why, are you going there? Maybe we can meet some of them. No, you're not going there, at least. Ryan, I don't really want him either, Dalman. Although, I probably should just enter the bedroom and see what happens. After a night, blah blah blah. Okay, ready to continue. And your next move. If I didn't know better, I think that you had a thing for dwarves. Almin looks at you expectantly. Heard any news from Seattle? There's a rumor going around that Dungelzan will apply to Yuka's citizenship. I don't believe it though. There are much better countries in the world. Oh, and the old Antumbra site is still bubbling with activity. Lots of mages are applying to visit and figure out how that phenomenon could have appeared. It appears localized for now though, so the rest of the city shouldn't be affected. I have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, anything new happening here? Yes and no. Many new faces, but they're always playing the same old story. Boy meets a girl, boy buys expensive drinks for girl leaves with boy, why mess with the classics? If I ever open up my own bar, I'll try to shake things up a little. We have the drinks by a boy for the... Maybe have the drinks by a boy for the girl. Okay, care to go on a run? Do you know what? I would. It's good to stretch my legs occasionally, and if you don't mind me saying so, you certainly seem like you could use the extra protection. You can have my services for the low price of 1,000 yen. Sure. You are as generous as you are wise. Let us venture forth. I feel he might be the best choice for a trip with the ghosts. And we have 162 yen again. So poor as poor can be. I'm saving the karma. We need at least 9 points to buy a good set of new abilities. I guess 11 if we want to get better combat abilities. But we could afford more body. We are going to need more body, but with the healer it's not that important. And more dodge. Although, again, as long as we have the healer, I would much more prefer to focus on killing abilities. Let's see his stats. No. I guess I'll end it here. New job on in a different city. City filled with spirits.